Hello everyone, welcome back to Classic Comics. Today I'm reviewing episode 4 of The Expanse, and oh my god, what an episode this was. So first, this will have spoilers, lots and lots of spoilers, so if you want to watch this episode, do that first and then come back here. So we start with Alex and Bobby somewhere between Mars and the Belt. They're in the Razorback, tracking the Barkeith, the Martian ship that Lieutenant Babbage is on, hoping to catch them in the act of transferring weapons to someone in the Belt. Alex is disillusioned by the whole thing. He points out that if they're selling weapons illegally, it isn't just Admiral Salvatore or Lieutenant Babbage. The crews of at least 3 Martian ships are in on it as well, which means hundreds, maybe thousands of people. Alex doesn't want to believe it's true and can't understand how Bobby's so willing to believe it herself. She tells a story about how when she was young, she had a pet rat that died, and she cried for hours, but eventually she stopped crying, buried the rat, and moved on because she only had so much grief to give. And Alex observes that they're mourning for their dying planet. Then they get an alert from the UN telling them that space lanes around Earth are restricted and to clear the way for relief vessels. And then they see news reports about the asteroid impact at the end of last episode. In addition, we learned that there was an attack on the Martian Parliament at the same time that the asteroid strike took place. We then go to a UN prison on Earth, and Amos is there to visit a prisoner. He's taken to a sub-level with maximum security, where prisoners with cybernetic modifications are held. The prisoners can get the mods removed if they want, but some don't want to, and for some, the surgery to remove them would be too risky. And then we see who Amos is actually here to see. Clarissa Mao is being held here after her actions in season 3, and because of her implants, she's held in this special block and kept sedated most of the time. Removing Clarissa's implants would be too risky, so she has to take chemical blockers to prevent her from using them. She and Amos talk, and she tells him about her prison routine, which keeps her in her small cell drugged up most of the time. Then the prison's lockdown alarms go off, and there's a big crash, and then the lights go out. We then go to the moon, and Christian is trying to get through to Secretary General Gao to tell her that the asteroid strike was a deliberate attack. When Admiral Delgado enters, he tells her that a second asteroid has hit Earth near Philadelphia. That's the crash that we heard at the prison. They try to contact General Secretary Gao to tell her to retask the military satellites to look for stealth asteroids. Now, Delgado points out that she's traveling in Southeast Asia, so they try to contact her plane, but no one on the plane will take their calls. So Christian contacts one of the chefs on board and tells him to take his phone to Secretary General Gao. Now, she takes the call, and Christian explains that they need to retask the military satellites to detect incoming asteroids. But then, in the middle of this conversation, a third asteroid hits Earth, not far from the plane, and a shockwave knocks Gao's plane right out of the sky, presumably killing her and her entire staff. On Tycho, Holden and Fred are waiting for the Zemea to dock so that they can take the ship and find out who is behind the kidnapping of Monica. Instead, the ship launches a missile at the cargo container, but Holden tells Bull and the strike team to get out, and they escape barely in the nick of time. Then we learn that the mole who was sabotaging the cameras and the security system was Sakai, the Belter engineer who's been working on the Rocinante. We learn this because she shoots Fred Johnson in the back and kills him. Before he dies, Fred tells Holden that the protomolecule is hidden in his quarters and to get to it before they do. The Zemea launches a breaching pod, which attaches to the hull at Fred's quarters where Monica is being held. Now, the pod releases a robot which goes after the protomolecule in Fred's safe. Sakai and 2 other Belters arrive, and they kill Fred's security guards. Holden arrives, and then a firefight ensues, but they can't stop the robot, and it takes the protomolecule, boards the breaching pod, and heads back to the Zemea, which flies away, and no one can pursue them or stop them because the station's reactor has been sabotaged. On the moon, Christian and Admiral Delgado are trying to communicate with whoever is in charge on Earth, but most of Gao's staff was on her plane with her, and no one's sure who is actually in charge anymore. We also learned that the impact near Philadelphia has caused flooding in New York, and Delgado tells her that the military satellites have been retasked to look for more asteroids. Another incoming asteroid is detected and Earth's defense system successfully destroys it. Naomi is taken to Marco's ship, where she learns about the asteroid attack on Earth. Marco tells Naomi that it was Philippe who got the stealth tech from Mars, and we also learn that Earth has destroyed 3 asteroids and 3 more have missed. Marcos then transmits a message to the entire solar system, declaring that the belt now controls all open space in the solar system, and the ring gate, and all the ring worlds, and that if the governments of Earth or Mars don't recognize these claims, they will be attacked again. He backs up his threat by telling everyone that he now possesses the Protomolecule, and will attack Earth or Mars with it if they try to interfere as the Belters lay claim to the ring worlds and start colonizing them. And the episode ends there. So this episode really demonstrates why The Expanse is such a great show. Big dramatic moments, but they don't feel forced or contrived in any way. The actions that characters take often lead to unexpected consequences. When Marcos was introduced in previous seasons, he didn't seem to be that important at first, but he kept slipping away instead of being caught, and the threat he presented steadily grew. Still, other characters didn't appreciate the threat that Marco posed, and now we finally see that not only is Marco ruthless and cunning, he's a brilliant military strategist and a tremendously charismatic leader who is able to instill fanatic loyalty in the people around him. The title of this episode is Gaugamela. I didn't know what that was, so I looked it up, and it turns out that the Battle of Gaugamela was a decisive battle where Alexander the Great defeated the Persians. So it's a fitting title because Marco is able to inflict a devastating blow to Earth with the asteroid attack, and the threat of the Protomolecule might be enough to make both Earth and Mars submit to his demands. And that's another thing I didn't see coming. The Belters stealing the Protomolecule, and the death of Fred Johnson was just another victory by Marco. He seems to be holding all the cards now, and it'll be interesting to see how Earth and Mars react. This season is adapted from the novel Nemesis game, and I've been told that this one is kind of like the Empire Strikes Back of the series, because the heroes are separated and they face setbacks while the villains get a win, so things may not get much better for the rest of the season. So, wow, just wow, a heck of an episode. Let me know what you thought of this episode in the comments, and if you like this review, please do hit the like button. Also, please sub to the channel and hit the bell for notifications. And I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching.